knowledge, the pillars of the game, but a six emerged, adding to the flame. Comics and hip-hop, a fusion so tight. Visual storytelling, lyrics that ignite. From the pages to the beats, a seamless blend. The sixth element, where two worlds transcend.
Welcome to the Sixth Element Show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu guided the way, bringing you the culture every day. Welcome to the Sixth Element Show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu.
What up, y'all? Just Reno right now. Stu Dog is on the way, having his typical technical difficulties, but y'all know what it is. This is our show, Sixth Element. And we got a good show tonight, man. As always, we got a great show. We're going to chop it up. We got guests coming in live, guests joining us all throughout the show. And we got a great topic tonight, bro. Let me tell y'all. Have y'all seen this new anime? It's called Gachiakuta. A couple of different pronunciations. I've heard Gachiakuta, and I've heard Gachiakuta. Yeah, Gachiakuta. So we're gonna call it Gachiakuta. I don't like Gachiakuta. I like Gachiakuta. Yeah, and we're gonna talk about the new manga from a hip hop perspective. No, we're just gonna talk about this new anime joint versus the manga that came out originally. How well the adaptation has been, is coming along. How well it's received. Who made the thing? What it's all about, and all that good stuff. And in the meantime, Stu Dog is texting me what's going on. Yo, what's wrong? You what?
Just left the LCS.
Bro, what is you doing? On your way home, it's 7 o'clock. See, Stu Dog, he don't care about us. He don't care about He don't care about us. He just comes whenever he wants to.
That's not the problem. That's not.
Yeah, dog. You don't care. You don't care. You stopped caring. Well, so you're gonna be like what, another 30 minutes or so? All right, 30 minutes. All right, I'll see you in 30. Bang! That's what it is. We got Stu Dog on the way, coming through. We got Gachiakuta. We got the manga. We got the anime. We're gonna chop it up good, and I promise y'all, it's gonna be beautiful. This show right now, it's not just redefining shonen anime. It's anointing itself as the next big thing right now. It's and to call it shonen, yeah, I guess it's shonen. Is it seinen shonen? We'll talk about the differences as well. This thing is on my eye. But the shonen anime landscape is sort of teetering on the edge of a void as a big marquee series like, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia are approaching their final acts. And so, long before this shift dominated online conversations, manga readers had already anointed Gachiakuta as the new hot contender to fill the gap. And to their surprise, Bones Studio Films, Bones Brigade, Bones Studios, the spin-off production company behind, My Hero Academia, Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, Mob Psycho 100, all the greats, announced that it's going to be helming the Gachiakuta anime adaptation, effectively crowning it the next big shonen. Because they're the big boys on campus, and Gachiakuta's 2-episode global premiere has its narrative muscle and inventive flair really living up to the hype. And the show is created by Key Urano, so a lot of people might not know. It's a female woman made this show, and I'm not going to say it shows in the art style, but it kind of shows in the art style. But and what I mean by that is like all the guys are like super like attractive looking. It's just it's very cool. Like the animation, the art style is phenomenal. All done by this guy here, Ando Hideyoshi. Sorry, probably butchering the hell out of that, but phenomenal artist. Directed by Fumiko Sugiyama, who is the Bones Studios resident badass director. And Yeah, it's coming along. It's a dystopian action fantasy series, right? And in this world, the privileged apostles reside in a pristine metropolis where trash is an afterthought. It's like reminds me of like Singapore, right? Is the most cleanest city on earth. And you know the impoverished tribes folk, they call them, they scrape by in the slums, scavenging that very waste between the borderline of their apartheid cities. And the series follows a character, Rudo, okay, who's a social outcast, this guy here. And Rudo's built different. Rudo's he sees things, from a different way. He doesn't appreciate how people treat items, treat materials like trash, and then turn around and treat people the same way. And just doesn't just has a sort of like idealistic view on the whole thing. And so him being, scouring the city for discarded relics, and rejuvenates and repurposes them into their former glory. And though Rudo's restoration seeks to breathe fresh purpose into society's refuse, both the apostles and the tribesfolk only really see him as like a freak who inevitably, bring society to ruin, and just make their town not as pretty. And basically, he gets framed for a crime he didn't commit, and he's flung from the gleaming utopia known as the Sphere into the pit, which basically is like Earth. The Sphere is like a floating city, is the way it comes across. And so this bottomless landfill where junk-born kaiju monsters are wreaking havoc, made of trash and poisonous smog is choking the air. You can't breathe, and it's like a very Mad Max-esque Raiders roam. Stripped for parts, and left for dead, like a modern day Prometheus or Lucifer. And Rudo vows to claw his way back up to that floating city that discarded him like trash, and make them pay. And so, as far as shonen protagonists go, Rudo is a far cry from the sunny Goku archetype, that has proliferated the genre. If anything, I'd say he's got more in common with Denji from Chainsaw Man, or Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul, with his sort of rough-edged, emotionally guarded demeanor. And I think this is made very clear in the premiere's early goings, where his attempt to sport a grin looks more like a threat than a genuine smile. But the tension between Rudo's rage and glimpses of vulnerability and downright soft boy nature makes his Greek tragedy revenge arc burn hot in its premiere. And I think it really charges this whole thing. And by the end of the first episode, which admittedly, it's just an origin story. It's just kind of, orientating you, world building, letting you know what's going on and what this thing's about, but doesn't really get into it, right? It's very much an origin, episode one. And so at the end, the desire to witness him crawl out of that pit, even if it means setting the world that tossed him aside on fire, practically, bangs its fists on your chest. It's very, very impactful, and like you just get into it, bro. And Gachiakuta definitely wastes no time amplifying its controlled yet chaotic visuals and sound that really makes them feel just utterly electrifying. Every frame of this series is enveloped in like a gritty grain, like a film grain that sort of makes it feel rich, and overlays its very the graffiti style character designs, and more so even than the manga. And we'll get into like the differences between the mangas and the anime. But I mean, like, this is very reminiscent of like a hip hop graffiti style, right? And I mean, considering who made the character in the manga, very young, Some people feel she designed a character after herself. She's very upset. She says, "What are you talking about? Where do you see this similarity? I don't see it." Uh, but yeah, some of her characters are very stylized, very cool, man. I mean, look at this design. That's just badass. That's just really good art. And I love good art. Good art wins me over every time. But you have there's a very big difference in what you get from the manga and what you get in the anime, not just color wise, style wise. Here's a two frames that are compared, and you can see, bro, the anime is just way more descriptive and detailed and has more flair and just it's just way better looking, way cooler, man. And the manga is very basic, not much to it, but the way that they build it, the way that they blow it up, really is very impressive. But a lot of the original art is very basic, like this character here, and that umbrella that he's holding. So a lot of the powers in this anime are very different than anything we've ever seen before. It's not so much about power scaling as it is a more an abstract sort of power scale. And this says if the person who uses an object treats it with care and puts their heart into it for years, then that object is imbued with anima, not enema. And that anima is what gives it its power. Am I those people? So you and I both have the power. We're givers. And I'm one of those people with that ability, he says. But yeah, givers are what they are called. And we'll get into all that, man, I promise. But Gachiakuta, definitely a very stylish art style. And I love it. I love that. I love the graffiti sort of style to it. It's very hip hop. It's just very, very modern and just cool. And meanwhile, it's 3D CG creatures shift and clank with hulking fluidity that does not detract, but enhances their menace. And the animation alone, and compared to other animes where it can be a little choppy or maybe not as good, like this is a really well done. Very focused on the art and animation, and a gritty aesthetic, and very, very, it complements the manga's, more grittiness, with the distortion and stylization that they use in the anime. And so in tandem with its look, Gachiakuta's action and drama are underscored by a rap, metal, hip hop, rock soundtrack that bucks the sleek musical shonen polish from its contemporaries and delivers a snarling, distorted musicality that really amplifies the feel, the feralness of it. And but I think what sets this one of the great things that sets it apart is the power system that anima, which completely ditches power levels for something more abstract and frankly more interesting. After awakening his giver ability, Rudo has now the power to channel emotional resonance through scrapped objects, right? Tapping into their sentimental value and transforming them into powerful weapons, which is a very abstract and deeply thematic and clever connection to the series. I mean, it just works perfectly. I mean, in this narrative, I mean, what better power could you have to imbue junk in a world of junk with power and use it as weaponry? Tonally, I think the series Gachiakuta walks a very, very thin line, very tight rope between the darkness of doomcore and the punchy levity. And so like one moment you've got Rudo is fighting raiders who've spent countless years scavenging the sphere's cast-offs, dodging junk-born monsters, and mourning loved ones and that are crushed by falling debris or killed by the trash monsters. And just like seasoned post-apocalyptic, just Book of Eli bad motherfuckers. And so through them, Rudo's, hopeful knack for like reviving discarded trash is turned on its head as a deconstruction of abandoned trinkets, utilizing all the parts of them for both like an intrinsic and monetary value to stay alive. And so, you know, as a rare survivor from the world above, because people down in the junk world, in the pit, generally are from the pit. Like, it's very rare that anyone from the sphere comes down to the pit. If they're coming down there, they got tossed down there. No one's coming down there by choice. And so it's pretty rare that you see someone. And so when he does pop up, you get this really cool introduction that it's very funny. It's very off. It sort of catches you off guard when he does come across some of the locals, and he becomes like the ultimate prize, right? He's like a living treasure from the very system that condemned them, and the ultimate sort of hostage in their minds. But little do they know, he was trash. They threw him away. What do you do? So in the next moment, Rudo and his new mentor, now Engine, are bickering at loud volumes, right, about trash kaiju, while ignoring all the warnings to keep quiet. And so it's very chaotic and absurd, and it works. It fucking hits. And yeah, sure, Gachiakuta isn't entirely flipping of the shonen script. It still nods to the genre familiars, right, serving as like a mentor figure and a found family in the making. But still, I think its spirit, dipping its tone into seinen, however you want to pronounce it. There's different kinds of manga. First of all, I think it's important that we bust that down. Like, shonen manga, when I've said this word a couple times, shonen, I mean, technically the word translates as boy, but what shonen anime is like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Attack on Titan, Full Metal Alchemist, Hunter x Hunter, stuff where it refers to a younger male audience, right? Generally teens, 18, and a little younger. And so shonen anime usually look to meet all the interests of younger males with, big boobs and a lot of violence and martial arts and powers and sci-fi and all the stuff that young guys like. And so most of the series feature a young male protagonist. Shonen anime have some of the most popular and well-known franchises, as they contain a little bit of everything. So like I said, your biggest manga that are the highest sellings are generally shonens. Seinen or seinen can be translated as also young man in English. So shonen is boy, seinen is young man, right? So the demographic being a little bit different. A seinen anime is more geared towards your 20 to 50-year-olds, like adult males. Yeah, it's adult males. One Punch Man, Tokyo Ghoul, Steins Gate, Ghost in the Shell, Berserk are great examples of a seinen versus a shonen. And so this show, like I said, leaning a little bit in the seinen area, a little bit Tokyo Ghoul area, a little bit, not quite so much Naruto or One Piece as it is like something like you probably Ghost in the Shell or Berserk or something like that. But this show, Gachiakuta, is definitely riding the balance between the two, but it lends its tale a refreshing atmosphere, and its contemporaries are not really offering right now. So I like it. It definitely hits for me a lot better. Like, I like shit like Tokyo Ghoul and all that. And so, this is right up my, my alley. And Rudo, the main character's journey, isn't really about discovering friendship or self-actualization or, power scaling. It's about revenge, redemption, resilience, in a world built to break him, and, dealing with these sort of more mature-ish subject matter. So, but sure, those flowery outcomes might inevitably come as a consequence of his, revenge laden odyssey. But it's definitely a front heavy theme that makes it dope. It's you've got 2 episodes out right now of the whole manga series, and so Gachiakuta already feels poised to be the next big shonen seinen anime, and so and more like a necessary one, and it's not just filling that gap left by Demon Slayer or My Hero Academia. It's actually creating a new sort of space, something very unique and something very, very cool. But some of the big differences between the anime and the manga, key things. Well, first of all, the manga I'll tell you about. I've read 1 through 4. There's 15. There's 15 what you call them volumes, and let me see. So I stumbled upon this manga in the library, and it looked dope, and so it already seems to have gained this traction on all the manga websites and all that. So I'm like, okay. And so I figured, I might as well, get on the hype train now. And, if it ends up becoming the next big game changing battle shonen, then at least I will have been a fan before it was cool. And sort of watch everyone just forget Jujutsu Kaisen ever existed, because that's how the mainstream works. But let's see what, this one's about, right? I want to, assuming that it's not the same premise as every other type of manga like it. So I'm curious. And so in this world of Gachiakuta, all trash. And like you see on the thumbnail, straight trash. It's because this is about trash. If you thought I was going to trash this anime, hate to disappoint you, but it is definitely a good one that I want to fucking really get into and really watch and really share with you guys. And so, in this world, like I said, from discarded objects to felons, they're all sent down to the pit, right? And then so in the manga, you had this brash teenage boy, Rudo, who was sentenced for the murder of his adoptive father, which he, of course, didn't commit. And so he curses the entire world. However, leaving the pit is a lot easier said than done, I will say, than you just would imagine. So, yeah, if you clicked on this show expecting us to be overwhelmingly negative or review this show, then I'm sorry. Psych, straight trash. It is that, but it is because it is about garbage. Garbage is literally the theme, and that's how we get down. Stu, what's good, man? Welcome. So yeah,
chilling. Running a little late. Had to get rid of some comics, man. Took a little more longer than I thought.
All right.
Collection is just, I got too many. Not too many. And they accumulate.
Not like you didn't know what time the show started, though. I'm just saying.
I knew, but I thought I'd be out of there before then. But I wasn't.
But did you watch the show? Did you get to see the anime, Gachiakuta?
Yes, I did. I watched it, and I even went and looked at the manga that it's based on.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Now I read a couple. I read like 4 of them, and I think what makes it. Well, I mean, in case you couldn't tell, Gachiakuta's got allegories, right? And like any battle shonen with allegories, it's not very subtle, right? It's a blatant as it can get, all out criticism of capitalism and classism, without, and how we, constantly discard everything. And so even if it's still got some life left or isn't really trash, you know what I'm saying? And I think the social commentary still resonated with me because we still live here in a capitalist country, and I'm, constantly subjected to ads about this new shiny crap product that I don't need or that. And, there's also allegories to classism and so colonialism. And, at least I'm assuming, going off of how these people are called tribe folk, are forced to live in low income communities and are harshly stigmatized against, you know. However, we only get to see this in the actual town above the pit, and so we're kept in the dark about what, you know, that society really is, at least in the beginning. And what makes this, you know, manga stand out from other mangas like it is the magic system that governs the world. It's not your typical power scaling or martial arts training or some, you know, supernatural, you know, well-known vampire monster or something like that. No, it's very much a very abstract magic system that, like I said, is based on them imbuing the powers of their sentimentality into the objects of trash and using them and literally like blasting energy out of them and shit like that to kill monsters or whatever. And the main character, you know, having being, you know, being special in some way, you know, of course he's always but it's not, you know, it's typical for a battle shonen, you know, you always got to have the main character have some sort of special thing that makes them special, right? That's what it's always about. And Gachiakuta no exception. And the character Rudo, you know. Hang on, this shit is not sticking for me. All right. So yeah, as such, his power works on pretty much anything that he can get his gloves on, right? He's got these gloves that have been imbued with power because he loves them and, you know, he's had them forever or whatever, right? So these gloves give him the power to like charge up shit, and so he's got immense respect for possessions, for material items, and he gets triggered when anything is treated as garbage. And as such, his power works on pretty much anything that he can grab. And so, whereas the givers, which he's a giver, and I'll explain what that is here in a sec, but givers are generally limited to a single thing that they can spend years caring for, right? They have to focus on that thing and care for it for many years. And so, of course, again, it's not a battle shonen without Rudo's power being extremely unstable and him needing to train and, you know, to focus it and all that, and finding a mentor and all that typical jazz. So, however, like the biggest caveat with any battle shonen, other than whether or not it can stick the landing, is the cast. And
Yes.
Rudo is at least an interesting take, I think, on the screamy, edgy boy. He has horrible communication skills. He spent his entire life being bullied on account of his biological father being a serial killer. And yeah, his biological father's a famous serial killer, and so he's getting bullied his whole life. And so it's only with the cleaners, right? There's givers, there's cleaners. We're going to talk about it with the cleaners that he can really put his social skills to use. And so, however, it's the wise words of his adoptive father, Regto, that keeps him in check. And so his views of garbage kind of come off as preachy, but it's necessary because, you know, us in the real world seem just as incapable of getting the memo. And so other than him, it's your typical cast of characters who have, you know, one personality trait stretched to the 9th degree and or the nth degree. And so, but they're still fun. They're still definitely not immune to critics. The manga verse anime imagery that I scraped together for y'all. Check this out. And I'll show you guys a good example of how well the manga is adapted, and then how much better it even looks than the manga. That's the manga. This is the anime. Anytime you see color, it's the anime, except for one of these pictures I'll show you. But there's Rudo. There's Rudo. This is the only color image from the anime that I'm aware of. It's a trash can. He says, "What is that imbued with?" And then here's the manga, including people when they commit crimes. Here's him hanging. He's about to get dropped into the pit. Here's like some trash dudes down at the bottom. And there's him looking over the slums of the pit. And you can tell by this picture here, the manga is nowhere near as detailed or, you know, as expressive as the anime is. So they really stepped it up in that department. This is the creator of the anime. and a character she created that she says is nowhere near based on her in any way, but a lot of people seem to think it is, obviously for obvious reasons. There she is again. That is the director, Fumiko Sugiyama. Two of the main characters. That's the artist that draws the anime and the manga. Two cleaners. The music staff, Taku Iwasashi. He said, I created music that is dirty, noisy, and loud, like a mishmash of odd bits of junk and trash that have been all pressed together and solidified. I hope you all enjoy the wild Gachiakuta universe. Here's one of these big trash monsters with Rudo again. There's Rudo again. There's his new mentor. He says, if the person who uses an object treats it with care and puts their heart into it for years, then that object is imbued with anima. And now here's that scene. There's a scene in the anime where he's like opens his umbrella and it's spinning and he uses it to kill the monsters. You remember that scene, Stu?
Yeah.
Try to keep your mute button on, bro. That shit looks just like it looks totally different than the anime. There's some more graffiti. Because it's a very graffiti style show. It's just totally hip hop in that way.
Hmm.
You see all the graffiti stylings. That's the anime right there. I meant the manga rather. 15 volumes so far.
The manga is dope, and it explains a lot that the well, big. I don't know. It's only 2 episodes. Maybe the show will tell you later, but the show didn't tell you right away. But the manga dives right into it and tells you a lot about Rudo, his origins, his fall from heaven or the sky, wherever he came from, whatever they call it. But he's
It's called the
basically,
Sphere.
yeah. And so he fell from the sphere
Well, they
into
threw him down.
this trash world. Well, throw. But but normally you don't survive that. Like, and he did, and that's the one special thing about him. He survived that.
This is the killer.
Rudo is
Killed.
from what I read.
This is the guy that killed his pops.
Now his right now his
Well,
father's
not his
name
pops.
is
This is not who killed his pops. This is who killed his stepfather, Regto. His real pops is a serial killer, but this guy who is the guy that killed his stepfather, and they framed him. Well, they didn't frame him. The cops ran in after the killer here ran out, and he was like over his pop's body in the anime, and that's when they come in and they say, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" He says, "No, I just came here. The killer ran out," and they're like, "Yeah, right, you killed him," and then they charge him with the crime, and then they throw him down into the pit.
yeah. Because his father's name is Alto Cerebic, which is Cerebus spelled backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. But the detailing, man, I was surprised that the anime, how much better the anime looks, much more expressive and
The art style is, I mean, the art style is very dope. I like it. It's very expressive. But the
super
story
dope.
is unique. The story is unique. Their powers and what they can do, and how Rudo puts a lot of emotion and things like that. So like he fixes broke things. So like if you had a toaster that was in the trash and he bought it, he can bring it back. He can fix it. He can make it better. Um, but it's through like his emotion. Now the other characters, they can kind of do the same thing from what I understand, but they can only do it one object at a time, like just one object. So they have to put all their passion and emotion into one single object, where Rudo can do it with many different objects and fix broken things. The other characters, they can't do it, and that's what
Yeah.
makes
Well,
Rudo so special. than the
It's
other
more
one.
about and they make weapons out of those things. Like he takes it like if he finds like you say if he finds a toaster, he's gonna make the toaster into like a gun or something and use it to
Yeah,
blast energy at you or something. Or just make a powerful weapon out of it in whatever way. I mean, he's not gonna fix a toaster, but like for example, this chick here, she has these scissors, and these scissors have been, her one item that she puts all her love into and care, and so she could take them scissors and turn them into this big ass. See there, they got real big and shit, and they
yeah,
like got green energy and shit. They fly around and then they kill shit, and that's what they do with the trash. They make weapons, not really trash, but they take an item and like this guy here, he's got this pole thing here, and he just made this weapon out of it, and it's got energy. And there's the umbrella guy.
the
So that's the
umbrella.
umbrella guy. Yeah, that guy here is this guy here. He takes off the mask. That's him with the without the mask on. And yeah, and that was the umbrella that I was showing you earlier from the anime. That's him there right there. Untie me, turd face. I have to get back up there ASAP. But there, this guy.
Yeah, because the art style reminds me. You ever play that video game? I think it's called The World. It's The World Ends with You. I think it's called.
Hmm.
It was on. I think I played it on my DS a lot. It's called. I think it's called The World. The World. The World
What about it?
Ends with You. That's what the art style reminds me of on
Oh,
this anime.
yeah,
Yeah, like a lot. Like like like
yeah.
like looking at the clothes and the style, like the baggy clothes. It just it just really reminds me of that.
Well,
Yeah.
find the game.
It's called The World Ends. I think it's called The World Ends with You or something like that.
Look it up.
Yeah, the world ends with you. Yeah,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The DS version of it, but they just came out with a newer version. I think it's for the Switch, and the art style on that just they're similar. It just reminds me of that, and that was a fun game to play. Like it was really a fun game and a different game to play. But I like Gachiaru. I think it's dope, bro. Like, and I've been looking for a new anime to watch, like something different, something. Yeah, see how they dress? Like it's something like it's similar but not the same. But it just
Yeah.
reminds me of the world ends with you when I was looking at it.
What's one of the things you liked about the show?
The whole explanation of like the trash, uh, how he can like how he can bring stuff back, like how he does, and how we don't know how powerful he is. You have an inkling of how powerful he is, but we don't really know because they haven't really introduced it yet. But when they finally do, we're gonna find out that that he is probably the most powerful person in that universe. And even he doesn't know how powerful he is right now, based on the TV show. Because in the manga, they kind of get more right to it. They tell you who his dad is. Um, his dad's name is Cerebus, spelled backwards. Um, and that he's actually from the underworld, but he fell from the spear, which is in the sky. And I like the fact that they like it's an original story, and I like that.
Yeah.
I like things like that when you just be creative like that. That's a creative story because normally when we get anime, it's usually they're copying somebody else. Like everybody want to be like Dragon Ball Z, and then everybody wants to be like My Hero Academia when that's hot. And then when Yu Yu Hakusho was hot, everybody was trying to be like that. This
Mm-hmm.
here is new. This is new. This is funky. This is modern. This is somebody who smoked some weed one night and came up with this, but it's good. And when you watch the show moves at a good pace. Which when you watch some animes, you sometimes you just sitting there like, oh my god, like can we get to it, please? And this didn't do that. I
Yeah.
actually had a good time and it drew me in. And
Mm,
so I can't wait for the other episodes to be released so I can get on with the
yeah.
story. And I'm after reading the manga, I'm kind of curious now. Like, how are they going to present it in live action? Well, not live action, but in the anime.
Yeah.
That's that's the point that has me hooked right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I waited to watch the both episodes before doing the review, because all the real action and dopeness is in the second episode. Even though the pilot does give the anime a solidly entertaining start for a dystopian action series, based on the manga series, that you know I think they did a really good job adapting it. It's pretty much beat for beat. There's a couple things like, for one thing, uh, there's a scene in the beginning of the manga where he comes in and finds this killer standing over his mentor, his sort of stepfather, I guess, his adopted father, just an older guy he lives with. And he fights the killer in the anime, and in the manga rather. They battle. They sort of have a fight that they show in the anime, or in the manga. Fuck. And in the manga fight where they fight, the book that he drops, that the killer drops, that he was there to steal, you can see very clearly that the image, the symbol that's on Rudo's gloves, is the same symbol that's on the book. And it's very much an important thing that they put there, and they make it very obvious, and it's, you're supposed to catch that and know it. It's an important plot point. But in the anime, they don't show the fight at all. And the book, he picks up the killer, like, picks up the book, and I'm talking about, it's a split second. I had to freeze frame it, and even in the freeze frame, this is all you see. You can barely see the symbol on the book, and it's a lightning fast move. Like I said, I had to freeze frame it right here. This is him picking the book off the ground, picks it up in a second. You can but you can see that there is a symbol there. But yeah, it's little stuff like that. But the director, Fumihiko Sugiyama, did worked at the animation studio Bones Studio, My Hero Academia, Full Metal Alchemist, Bungo Stray Dogs. And so episode 1 of this grittily explains the divisive world that Rudo lives in. And so, with the city, clearly split in the elite class and the slums, which are inhabited by the the less privileged, known as the tribesfolk. So one of the tribesfolk, there's an orphan named Rudo, and he's raised by Regto in the slums and taught to believe that if you take care of objects, they develop souls or a spirit. And Rudo, therefore, despises how easily the rich, just discard things and don't really care about it. Like, they make an illustration of that point by, in the beginning, there's a little girl, and she picks up the stuffed animal rabbit, and there's like a little tiny tear in the neck, and a little stuffing popped out. Other than that, it's a brand new stuffed animal. And so she goes to her mom and she says, "Hey, my thing is ruined." And the mom says, "Oh, it's just a little tiny scratch." She said, "Well, we can fix it, but if we do, it'll look ugly. So let's just throw it away and get a new one." And like, that's the attitude. And so, the tribesfolk or whatever, they have a different attitude. Obviously, they understand that things still have value. Just because it broke or whatever, you can fix it, or whatever. So that's sort of the theme in the class separation. But this becomes a key theme in the anime, and if you haven't read the manga or seen the show yet, there's a lot more. But the world of Gachiakuta starkly highlights the divide between rich and poor. And so the elite classes ironically dressed in sterile, very uniform like white outfits with like gold trim and a clever visual cue that reflects their lack of creativity and soul. And then those living in the slums too wear off-white uniforms that are a little bit off-white and just, you know, are just maybe like a darker version. So I love the anime for this series, but the colors are kind of dull and a deliberate artistic choice to match the grim tone of the tale and the, you know, the story and everything, and the injustice that Rudo faces. And so, and then Rudo's character design with the crazy big red eyes and the is best in the series, I think, so far. But with episode 1 ends with Rudo being thrown into the pit. Episode 2 of Gachiakuta is titled "The Inhabited." Is very, very entertaining. It's the better of the two, or the more you know, just action packed of the two. And so there he sees very weird shit, and like he meets this intriguing new character named Engine, and who is clearly going to serve as his new mentor to replace Regto, and so, you know, kind of, you know, help him extract his revenge against those who killed Regto. And you know, the circumstances under which Rudo and Engine meet
And
are
and his
alarmingly
father
dangerous.
and killed his father as well.
Yeah, Regto.
Yeah.
Yeah, he killed Regto, and so there he wants to get revenge against those who killed Regto. Regto is not really his father; it's just like the guy who
No.
kind of raised him. His father is someone he
Yeah.
never
His
knew.
father. Yeah. His father's Serb is spelled backwards. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, he's a serial
That's
killer.
his real father. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a serial killer, and so people kind of fuck with him
But
because
Ruda, but Regto told him that his biological father was dumped into the pit for a crime that he did before
serial
he was
killer.
born. Yeah, that's what Regto told Rudo. He told Rudo, like, look, like your dad was dumped into the pit for some crime he did before you was born.
Well, no, he told him he was thrown in the
And
pit because he was a serial killer.
yeah, serial killing is a crime, right?
Yeah, but he didn't just say some
Yeah.
crime he committed. It
I
wasn't
mean,
just
oh, like some crime. I mean, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm trying not to spoil it for everybody. I mean, but if
What are you talking about? We
you
already.
want to spoil it,
What are you talking? We
I
always
mean,
we already been spoiling it.
I mean, I'm just trying to give, like, I ain't trying to give all the details. Like, I wanted to watch it a little bit.
Give all the
Yeah.
details. That's what we here for. That's our job, is to give the
Okay.
fans
All
the
right.
details. That's what we doing here. We giving them details. So break it down. Tell them all. Tell it all, man.
Oh,
Tell it
okay.
all.
All right.
No, don't hold
Let's
back. Don't
go.
hold back.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Man,
All
the
right.
fans
So
want to
when
know.
Rudo, all right. So when Rudo wakes up in the pit, he's in a pit full of trash. And when he was attacked by that trash beast, because like that threw me off. I didn't know when I first watched it. I thought that it was just a monster. I didn't know it was made out of trash. Like I was like, wait a minute, hold up,
Yeah.
man. Then I had to rewind it. Then I was like, wait a minute, oh, that joint is like a trash monster. So Engine was the one that rescued him because Rudo wasn't he wasn't expecting that when he got down there. But he did explain to Rudo about the whole thing and the fact that he wasn't underground and the fact that he had fallen from the surface. I mean, from the sphere to the surface. And
Yeah.
then after, he tested him out just to see what he was, what he could do. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean, and awaken his power. As he found he was a giver.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then he told Rudo to go back to join him as a cleaner. And cleaners, that's what they do. They go around and they fight the trash monsters, and they yeah, I mean, it's a whole organization of them. And they use their unique powers known as vital instruments. That's what we were talking about earlier when he took the scissors and they had the umbrella and all that. But you have to be able to focus. From what I read in the manga, you have to be able to focus into that. So like, and you can only do one item at a time. That's it. So once you focus into that one item, that's the only item you can do. You can't like pull up multiple items like, I don't know, like Harry Potter or something, or like Dragon Ball or something. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. The one vital instrument that you have is the one that you get. But I don't know. Like you said, it was more action in the second one than it was in the first, and I like that. But you got it like because the I don't know if they're telling the story. I guess they're doing it not to reveal everything. I like I had I had to go look at the manga just to find out some stuff because I was curious. And it's good that you can have that reference. But most people that's probably watching this probably read the manga. They probably know what's going on and they're just trying to see how it unfolds. But if you haven't read the manga, you're in for a good ride. And if you have read the manga, you'll be like me. You'll be like, well, wait a minute, why is this like this? But I was just curious to ask these questions, and that's why I went and read the manga or looked at some of them. But it is dope. Um,
Yeah, so the art design is way cooler in the anime. Here's a lot of examples that here that somebody did put up for us here. You can see the vast improvements and detail that they put into the
yeah,
anime.
that they did, yeah, man, and they did with the manga.
Right, here he is. So here's the guy I was showing you earlier with the umbrella and the anime. That's him standing here.
Yeah,
He's
it's
got
engine.
his
Yeah,
umbrella.
it's
There's
engine.
engine. Yeah, and there he is in the
Yeah,
the anime rather,
yeah, it's
doing the
called the
same
Unbreaker.
thing.
This umbrella's called the Unbreaker.
The Umbre called it. Yeah,
The Unbreaker. The
yeah.
Unbreaker.
But
Oh,
see,
the Unbreaker.
the cool thing is that Rudo's item that he imbues is his gloves, and so they're gloves, and so like if he's holding the gloves, any other item he picks up, he can now imbue that item. And so that's why he has the ability to imbue multiple things and stuff like that, because his item that he imbues is gloves. And so those gloves translate. And so it's a very clever way to do, and I like that. Uh,
Yeah, he got those gloves from a ghetto before he died.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But Rudo's gloves, like I was saying earlier, they give him the power of life. Like they allow him to give life to any three objects he wields, where everybody else can only just do one. Well, he can't give life, but his gloves. I,
Yeah,
that's
because he
what I was
has the
saying earlier
glove.
about him. Yeah, that's what I was saying about him being more powerful. We just don't know how powerful he's going to be yet because they haven't revealed. So, but most of the stuff he gives life to is mainly just trash items. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and then we got the little breakdown here of the givers. So the givers, it says the givers is the title given to people who possess the ability to use vital instruments. They're also referred to as dependents by citizens of the ground. The vital instruments are powered by thought, Shonen, which is a mysterious power source in the ground. Thought accumulates and turns into energy, an anima that causes various phenomena. Thought accumulating in objects is one of those phenomena. Givers have the ability to draw out the power with their vital instruments to fight trash beasts. It is commonly known that givers can only utilize one vital instrument, that it must be something very precious to them. Because of this, stealing a giver's jinky is not only renders them powerless, but is also a sign of the utmost disrespect. While the concept of givers and vital instrument is known to a few people in the sphere, in the ground, they're common knowledge, with most knowing where they get their powers from. The general public who look down upon them refer to all the givers as dependents due to how obsessed they are with their singular item. It also made abundantly clear that all people, whether good or bad, are capable of being givers. Givers are able to control how well they handle a vital instrument. As it said, Zanka Nijiku is the best handler there is. And there she is. That's the girl that they said that the writer based herself on, but she denies it. And let's see. So vital instruments. Here's a better breakdown of vital instruments. Are objects powered by thought. people use vital instruments are called givers. Vital instruments are probably, we just read all that. Same thing. Awakening. Before becoming a giver, the user has to transform into one by learning to give off anima. This is usually done by pouring their love and care into an object, but this process can be sped up by another giver supplying anima energy into someone else by acting as a catalyst to trigger their awakening. This, however, only works for those who've already built a foundation to be a giver by using the former method. The only known way of this method being used is through the Watchmen series item 3R. Quality. The longer someone gives their object love and care, the more seasoned and therefore better it becomes as a vital instrument. This is called improving its quality and makes it more powerful. When a giver typically awakens their vital instrument, their name gets etched onto the object. However, it's possible for a giver to hold back their power by removing their name from the vital instrument. This usually causes the vital instrument to decrease in size and abilities to diminish. Let's see. Types. They got different types. Attacker type and defender type. When a person wants to get the best use out of their item, it becomes an attacker vital instrument, which gives it powerful combative abilities. On the other hand, someone who prefers to preserve their object and doesn't want to damage it will likely be a defender, meaning they won't be able to use their object offensively and will instead gain non-combative abilities. Succession. Succession is an even rarer ability to manifest an object. It occurs when an object is passed down between generations, allowing thoughts of several givers to build up within an object. And you got different organizations. You got the Cleaners. One of the largest groups of givers are the Cleaners. This is a public organization made up of around 100 individuals who handle requests made by the citizens of the ground to clean up trash beasts who disturb their area. Groups which respond to Groups which respond consist of a singular combatant cleaners and maximum of 4 support cleaners. The former being relied upon to finish off the beast, while the latter make it easier for them. The group appears to be a major governing body of the ground, being trusted and supported by a large portion of the general public, with the private doctors highly respecting the cleaners and healing them up as often as they can. Then you have raiders, another group of givers known as raiders, and entirely made up of givers. The group originally started committing petty crimes and small thefts before getting involved in larger crimes. The group is now actively opposing the cleaners, and they especially seek to learn more about the sphere and the border one crosses when dropped from it. Vianders, I don't know, a group of givers who specialize in cooking, especially desserts. Due to the bad environment of the ground, it's difficult to produce food, but the ground has a good supply thanks to the Vianders. You know, speaking of that, I thought the ground is all polluted and shit, so it must be really hard to grow anything. But how are you growing food or anything in the sphere? Like, shut that quick.
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. Like I said, we gotta wait. If you dig deep into the mangas, it probably tells you. But right now, they're just slow walking it. They're just slow walking it on the show right now, so we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't say they're slow walking it. It's just episode 2.
Yeah.
It's these are the givers right here: Rudo, Tamsi Kanes, Engine. There's Rudo. We talked about him a lot. Regto, Engine, yawning and shit. Boy. Engine is the deuteragonist of Gachiakuta. He's a member of the Cleaners as the leader of the team Akuta. Yeah, and he's the guy that sort of mentors Rudo in the beginning.
Yeah, it's the Umbrella.
And here's Regto. He's a character. He said he was a spherite and foster father of Rudo before his murder by the Angel. And the Angel is the guy that killed him. and she's a main cleaner right here, Zonka.
Zonka. Zonka. I think Zonka's a dude. Zonka a dude or a girl?
Did you? Yeah, it's a girl.
Girl, yeah. Well, the Japanese like that androgynous type thing. So,
Well, yeah, but it says. I mean, they talk about her in the show. She's a woman. But Rio Reaper is a character. She is a former hitman and currently a member of the cleaners team Akuta. Also, look at her legs. Jesus Christ. Yeah, everybody in this show has really long legs. Very, very stylized design. They show Rudo. Look at his long ass legs. They got long ass body. He got.
That's the art style. I like it. It's different. I like it.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And like I said, it reminds me of The World Ends With You. Just the character designs, but just a lot more modern. I can put it. That's the best way I can put it. But
Yeah, yeah. The reveal of the Gachakuta's magic system arrives at the end of episode 2. They do tease it in the opening narration. Yeah, an object cared for over a long time develops a soul, and that can be wielded by the person who cared for it. In a world that treats people like trash, the idea of keeping and caring for something is a radical act. And so it's a great idea, and I think his contrast is very welcome. Just to aim for the heart as well as to the head. It's very much to draw people in a sentimental way. And so the idea sums up the first 2 episodes overall, basically. And it's, in all its anger and disgust, Gachiakuta wants to convince us, that it's edgy. But perhaps that's the whole issue. It has room to grow in a great series, once it does settle in. But for something so dark, it leaves very little impression. But I think with its distinct dystopian flair and animation from the studio behind My Hero Academia, Mob Psycho 100, it feels set to be, I think, the next big dark fantasy anime. It's already very much so that, and so perhaps one day, it could be, one of the classics. But I think with its first 2 episodes, the novelty of the series, floating society of the haves and have-nots, as its byproducts, monsters made of trash, is regularly undermined by shonen anime cliches, rushed pacing, heavy-handed world building. But there's a lot of promise in this show. Whether its characters can provide like a solid enough foundation is unclear. The story, the writing is a little bit lacking compared to the animation and art, which is definitely the driving force of the show. Is definitely the animation and the art, the stylization. So, but yeah, man, moving on to other subjects, guys. With the Deathstroke and Bane movie has gotten an exciting update amid the Batman speculation. So the untitled, as of yet, Deathstroke and Bane movie, the update has potential DC Universe movie was first reported to be in development, I don't know, back in like September of 2024. Matthew Orton, whose previous superhero screenwriting credits include shit like the bullshit Captain America, Brave New World, Moon Knight, which was better, than that, but was attached to write the screenplay, which is believed to center around a team up between, Deathstroke and Bane. And now, 10 months later, it's time for DC Studios co-heads James Gunn and Peter Safran to see what Orton has written all this time. And so the latest update on the Deathstroke and Bane movie being that the rap reporter Humberto Gonzalez revealed on the Box Office podcast. He said that Orton has submitted the script for the Deathstroke and Bane movie to Gunn and Safran. And as Gunn has reported, stated in the past, no DC movie will see a green light until they are 100% satisfied with the screenplay. They want to read it. If it's good, they'll make it, right? So, yeah, if Orton's script is up to par, then there's a strong chance that Deathstroke and Bane will be one of the next DCU movies to enter production. And so Deathstroke and Bane, obviously being two of the coolest characters in all of DC, more in the Batman mythos, Teen Titans and Deathstroke's case, is one of 3 DC movies currently in development that will center around the Batman mythology. So Deathstroke and Bane is very much going to be centered around whatever the Damian Wayne Batman bold and brave universe, in that world, that mythology. So obviously Clayface being the other one. So Deathstroke, Bane, Clayface, Brave and the Bold right now, 3 movies in the same sort of which all the DCUs in the same universe, but these very much in the Batman lane. And Clayface is the furthest along in development right now with director James Watkins. You have Tom Rhys Harries as the lead actor, and then but the production start date is this next month, is August. So it's planning to come out September 11th, 9/11/2026 is the date right now for Clayface. So Brave and the Bold, a different story. While among its first 10 titles announced for DCU, its development has been shrouded in mystery ever since, with only Andy Muschietti, the Flash director's appointment as director on the project being really officially announced by DC Studios, which I think is a big, huge fucking mistake. And I weep for the possibilities. But Gunn has stated that the undisclosed screenwriter is working on the script for the movie, which will see Batman learning that he has fathered a son, Damian, with Talia al Ghul. And with no major updates right now on Brave and the Bold, some hurry up to the door. What happened? Oh, all right. Be safe. You need the phone? With no major updates right now on Brave and the Bold, some DC fans have begun to speculate if Batman will make his live action debut in either Clayface or Deathstroke and Bane. And I doubt it will be Clayface, but Deathstroke and Bane is very likely. New plot details for Clayface have confirmed that Batman won't appear in the R-rated horror movie, so I don't think there's any point in fucking worrying about that. But there is still a chance that he appears in Deathstroke and Bane, considering that the movie remains heavily under wraps. But until fans learn more about these upcoming movies, and the next confirmed live action appearance of Batman will be in the Elseworlds movie, the Batman Part 2, which is scheduled to come out in 2027, October 2027. So like 3 Octobers from now. So fuck off. We'll talk about it when it's relevant. But the Batman and DCU's Dark Knight, very different characters, very different universes, very different Batman. So don't look to see fucking Robert Pattinson in the DCU. Okay, it's not possible. Not only is it not happening, it's not even possible. It's not even not likely. It's not possible. People trip me out. I think Pattinson's going to be DCU. What are you talking about? It's not even possible. It's not even possible. That's like saying Tom Holland is going to be in fucking Batman. Like, what are you talking about? He's Spider-Man. Pattinson is the Batman. He's a different Batman from a different universe. He couldn't possibly in any way come over to the DCU. That would mean that the Batman universe is part of the DCU, which it very much is not.
That's true.
But Gunn has more than stressed that that's not happening.
Well, hopefully we get a decent Bane if they do go through with this. Most of the time, Bane is not depicted as being Spanish. He's not. But they're doing it. Hopefully, we get a Spanish Bane who speaks Spanish. Who wears the luchador mask and all that. Like, let it be what it. I don't know why.
They definitely would not do the goon Bane. They definitely would not do that.
Nah, I think that's a
They
hurt piece
definitely would not do that.
for the character. That's a
Yeah, they
hurt
would
piece
not.
for the character, man, because
Yeah, don't do the
it's
thug
what made
Bane.
him dope. It's what made him dope, and that he's
No, we
just as
don't
smart
want
as
the
Batman.
goon Bane.
No, we want the Bane from the comics. We want
Yeah, we want
Spanish
smart,
speaking,
strategic Bane.
luchador mask, wearing strategic Batman mystique, or with the trench coat and the hat. Like that's the Bane we want. We want the one that's the thinker and the fighter. We want the Venom. We want all of that. But Hollywood just hasn't given it to us. The last one they gave us the mask, and he had the robot voice. It was dope for the movie, but it just really wasn't. This wasn't Bane. I don't know.
Yeah,
They just
we
definitely got
agreed. We agree with Slade. Slade, where you been, man? I ain't seen Slade in here in a minute. I don't think we seen Slade in like a few weeks.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's been going a few weeks.
How you been, broski? Everything good? We Gun wouldn't say what project the DCU Batman will officially debut in, or like what movie we're gonna see Batman in first. It won't be Brave and the Bold. Technically, it's already happened in Creature Commandos, but we're talking about the live action one. But yeah, there was a Batman that was in Creature Commandos that busted into the skylight, and that Batman is the Batman from the Brave and the Bold. It is the Batman for the DCU. Obviously, it was an animated Batman, so it doesn't tell us at all, what actor is going to play it. And it was mostly a silhouette, so it doesn't tell us what the costume is going to look like either. And that was all very much by design. Gunn has not decided what the costume is going to look like yet, and definitely hadn't by the time Creature Commandos was there. But you can kind of get the idea that he's more of an older, more thicker, more gravitas Batman than Pattinson could be, or any previous Batman, really, because all the previous Batman have been either new or Michael Keaton. So yeah, it'll be cool to see a more seasoned Batman. And it's not going to be the Frank Miller Batman, the super wide, weird, goofy one, but just think Brave and the Bold. More seasoned Batman. But when asked about Alan Ritchson, a name who does come up, Richson, Gunn said, "I'm a big Alan Ritchson fan, both as an actor and as a guy. Let's just wait and see what happens." Personally, I think they should give the Batman role to the guy that plays like the grandfather of Dutton of John Dutton in 1927.
Mm.
Yeah, I'll tell you what his name is. Hang on. A lot of people want this actor to do the role, and I think it's a good fan casting. Is it 1927 or 1923? That was 1927. Maybe it's 1923. Okay. The fuck? All right, check this out, y'all. Bang, bang, ba, bang, bang, bang. That's not the button. This is the button. That's not the button. This is the button. Bang. There we go. There's like 17 buttons just to show something on the screen. It's so weird. But here you go. Brandon Scalar. That's the guy. Where is he? Is that him? That's not even fucking Brandon Sklar. All right, there he is. He is what a lot of fans are casting as Bruce, as the grizzled father of Damian Wayne. You saw him in this movie, 1923. Spencer Dutton, that's his name, Spencer Dutton. But I mean, to be fair, he's in the show, he's a real badass. He's a super good fighter. He's very believable in being a tough guy and being someone that you don't want to fuck with, and being someone that just like you believe could fucking hunt down a lion by himself. And he does well. So I agree with it. I agree with that. And then who's the other guy? Alan Rickson. Alan Rickson. I always think Batman should be darker, but this guy's more of like a blonder Batman, I guess. Also, a way bigger, more muscular Batman, which I don't know. I don't. I guess it works.
Nah, I can't see him as being.
But yeah, I'm just not a.
I can't. Yeah, I'm not sold on that one. The other guy, yeah, him no. No, that Jack Reacher.
Yeah, that's Reacher, Jack Reacher. Yeah, it's not Batman. Not Batman. I met him. I met this guy at a con. Cool dude, but just because you're a cool dude and just because people like the show Reacher and just because people like him doesn't mean he's a good Batman. Like that's, people gotta, just because you're a fan of someone, think about them as that character. Like, could that be Bruce Wayne?
But
Fuck
that's what
no.
people do now. People just throw.
Yeah.
I think they just throw names out there, or somebody they think, like you said, that they like, and they be like, "Oh, he should be Batman." No, you have to be meticulous about this. It's got to be believable, and you got to play two roles. So you have to be Bruce Wayne and Batman, because Batman is Bruce Wayne's alter ego, and so they're two different personalities, two different people. Even though they're in the same body and they're the same person, Batman's way different than Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm. Look, Batman's 1923's Brendan Sklar continues campaign to be the DCU Batman.
I think Gunn is gonna pick somebody just off the wall, like somebody we're not expecting, like he did with Henry Cornsweet.
Oh wow! Well, this guy, Brendan Sklar on the fan casting Batman. That would be a dream. I'm built for it, he said.
Damn.
He literally was like, I've been wanting to play Batman my whole life. He was like, that's crazy. Let me see. Several other what did he say? Brendan Sklar recently spoke to the playlist about rumors that he's being considered for the role in Marvel's Nova series on DC Plus, playing Richard Rider. So he might be Nova. He might play Nova. Sklar also shared that playing Batman in The Brave and the Bold for DCU would be a dream role for him. His ends with Blake Lively support fan casting. Blake Lively had previously supported fan casting him as Batman. He said, I've seen a bunch of fan castings for this Batman thing, The Brave and the Bold, and that's very interesting to me. I love Batman. That would be a dream for sure, but we'll see what happens. I'm built for it. And he is. He's built for Bruce Wayne. He definitely could be an not like an old man, but definitely like an older Bruce Wayne. Older compared to Robert Pattinson or Bruce Wayne's we've seen in the past. But so after that, apparently now Sklenar has said something again about playing Batman. I wish Raw Talk was here because he's a big fan. Let's see. As of this guy as being Batman. He's asked about how he feels about the top choice of Batman fan casting, being the topmost choice of Batman fan casting. Brendan Sklenar expressed his joy at being fan cast as Batman, saying, let's keep running with that. That's something I've wanted to do since I was a little kid, and I've never talked about it ever. And it just started happening, and I was like, this is cool. And now maybe, hopefully, it happens one day. Yeah. He said, love to do it. Childhood dream, blah, blah, blah. Interviewer made a phone call gesture and asked Sklenar if he'd ever been contacted by Gunn or anyone from DC. Sklenar suggested that there's some awareness of me on some level. However, he didn't confirm if he's had received any calls. Features the little kid in me and the adult in me is like, this is cool. Have a bunch of ideas. Anyways, it'd be cool. He's got some ideas. Apart from Sklenar, another actor who's favorite being among fans is Alan Richter. So like that's the big. It's between Brendan Sklenar and Alan Richter, and I think Rickson. I think Sklenar's the obvious choice out of those two.
Makes sense to me. Or maybe it'd be somebody we just don't expect out of left field. Like,
Oh, he's been in England. Hello.
who's been in
Took his son to Oxford. Slade Wilson. He's been in England for a little over a month. Took his son there to college. He'll be attending the
So-
Oxford University. He can be a believable Bruce Wayne. I can go with that pick. Raw Talk can play Batman. Yeah, Gunn wouldn't say what project the DCU Batman will officially debut in or who's going to play Batman. We just know that apparently it's being directed by Andy Muschietti, who did The Flash. Like, let's take a director who did a movie everyone fucking hated and pick him to do Batman. Oh,
wait a
fuck.
minute. Flash was ruined by the actor, not the director. I mean, I thought it was directed well. I just wish Gus would have been Flash for that movie. It would have made it better.
Yeah. No, yeah. If it wasn't, I think so too. But a lot of that movie wasn't just the actor; it was a lot of weird shit going on. And I mean,
It was.
you can say it was the actor, but this shit, the fucking director had fucking final say about it. He could have been like, "Stop doing that dumb shit right now," but he didn't. He doubled down.
Nah, he does. Yeah.
He was like, "Let's showcase this bullshit. What the fuck is this? What even is that? Who thinks of that? I don't even know like where you get that idea. It doesn't even seem like anything that any sane person would come up with when you're trying to think of the fastest man alive. The fastest man alive looks like he's stumbling when he fucking runs. Yeah, that makes sense. So I mean, yeah, the actor was a jerk off and nobody liked him. But I don't know. I can't ever just blame an actor completely. The director is the one telling the actor what to do and what not to do. So the actor's really just a puppet. The puppeteer is the one running the show.
That's true.
Some movies like big, where you have huge actors, and shit like that. The director doesn't have to do much and doesn't say much. And some actors, the director's probably just like, do your thing, because some actors, they're not so much actors as they are just really, very dynamic people who come up with some clever shit, and you have to let them do that. If you tell them what to do, then you won't get any of their cleverness. And so some actors you want to be like, okay, do your thing, but definitely not the guy that played Flash. You definitely don't tell that kid to do his thing. That kid's out here kidnapping people. Like, come on. This kid was clearly fucking touched.
Yeah, and they stayed with him for some reason. You could have reshot that movie. It's a lot you could have did with that and made that. I like the fact they put Michael
Well, no.
Keaton in there.
Okay.
Batman.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Well, no.
Zod, that was dope. But
I mean, all that stuff coming out about him, that's one thing. But people that worked with him had to see how he behaved. I mean, we found all that shit out later about him kidnapping people and all that. But someone who does that must have been showing signs of being a jerk off in some way. I find it hard to believe that he was totally fucking normal around everybody else and then went home and kidnapped kids. Like, I don't think.
And you got rid of people in movies for less than what he did.
Right.
And not only did he do it, but he kept doing stuff. Like, it wasn't like it was a one-time incident or something.
He didn't stop and apologize. Yeah.
None of that. It
Very
just
weird.
kept going. I was like, damn. I was like, oh damn. I guess they must have really wanted him for that movie very badly.
Yeah. But yeah, Batman did make it. Like I said, he made his first cameo in Creature Commandos. Yeah, I think Clayface is probably you know, I mean, from what we've heard, Batman's definitely not going to be in Clayface, so I think that's pretty solid information. I wouldn't expect it, but I think Batman popping up in Deathstroke and Bane is going to be very stupid if he doesn't. I think that would be very stupid if they don't put him in there. Like you're gonna tell me that you're gonna have Deathstroke and Bane running around doing shit, no origin nonsense, just full on Bane and Deathstroke, and Batman's nowhere to be found. Hell no.
Nah, I mean, I think it.
No one would buy that.
Did you see? You see the assault on Arkham?
Nah, Slade Gunn's going with an older Batman because of the story that they're doing. He's playing the father of Damian Wayne. He's like an older Batman. Look up the story Brave and the Bold. Here. Batman and Robin by Grant Morrison is one of the titles. It's part of the Brave and the Bold thing. This is really where we're talking about, this kind of level of Batman there. And I hope that he looks like this too. I really want to see.
Yeah, that'd be dope if they did that.
And Brave and Bold, Bats is older. Oh, you're talking about the cartoon? Are you talking about Brave and the Bold like the cartoon or something? There's different Brave and the Bolds. I know there's a cartoon or something like that. But here.
I don't know how old he is in Brave and the Bold. I always thought he was just regular age. I didn't know he was older or younger. I thought he was probably about in his 30s or something like that. And Brave and the Bold. And just period, like Batman. I always thought they just depicted him like that, period, just in his 30s. The only time they depicted him older was in Batman Beyond. Yeah, with Terry McGinnis. That's the
Oh,
oldest
that's
Batman.
old Batman. I don't mean
Yeah,
an
that's
old
old
Batman. I don't mean an
old Batman.
I don't mean an old man. When I say older Batman, I mean like not a kid, not year 2.
Oh,
Like
not year 2, yeah.
a seasoned Batman. I
So
don't
that would
mean
be
like
in his
he's an
30s.
old
That'd be
man
like in his
Batman.
30s. Yeah, that'd be like in his 30s.
Yeah, but he's definitely not a younger Batman. He's not on the younger side. He's not. I don't mean he's old, but he's not young. He's a pops. He's a father. He's a dad type character.
Daddy.
But there is a Brave and the Bold. There is a Brave and the Bold. Like here you go. Here's some Batman Braves and the Bolds. See what I mean? How he looks.
Yeah.
Blow up this image. Yeah. See how he is. He's like kind of
Yeah.
wide. He's definitely more seasoned. He's got a big jaw. He's like more of an older. I say older again. I don't mean Dark Knight or Batman Beyond older. I just mean more seasoned. Like that.
Yeah. I could see the Allen dude playing Batman. He kind of looks like him in Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, Alan Rickson, he could be Brave and the Bold Batman.
Yeah, he kind of looks like him.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like a Brave and the Bold Batman. I
Yeah.
whoever, that'd be a good cast because
if they're really doing this,
they
and then
kinda-
then there's also this story they're basing it on too. It's not just Brave and the Bold. It's Batman and Robin by Grant Morrison with Damian Wayne, where he's the dad of Damian Wayne and shit. What was it?
Yeah, I can see that. That would make more sense. But if they do Brave and the Bold, that'd be dope. Because you could do a lot with that, and you could introduce a lot more fanfare into Brave and the Bold. Because that's what Brave and the Bold was about to me. There was always a different guest every week, every comic, different hero, different set of heroes that help Batman, different villains every week or every comic. It was just something different. It was new, it was fresh, and it worked, and people loved it.
I love this cover. Joker's wanting to stay back. Nobody lays a hand on my partner while I'm around. Batman and Joker. Brave and the Bold Batman team ups. Yeah, that's a different Brave and the Bold.
Yeah. And the team ups were the things that's what made Brave and the Bold was those team ups.
And here's a more modern Brave and the Bold. So it's such a vast. Who knows which one he's gonna go with or what he's gonna do.
Yeah, just gonna do it. Well, if it's gonna be gun, it's gonna be more comic accurate than anything.
Yeah, I mean, see, he doesn't look young to me. He looks more old.
Yeah, he does.
Older than Robert Pattinson. Older than a year two Batman.
Way
He's
way
got the
older than
grizzle.
you.
Yeah, I mean,
But if it is Brave and the Bold, you are right about that. It has to be an older Batman because he's way more seasoned. He is Batman. Like he has
yeah,
a reputation. He
yeah.
trained. He even trained Blue Beetle.
Mm-hmm.
Jaime. He even trained Jaime. So you
Mm-hmm.
could introduce Blue Beetle into the universe with Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
Mm. But
Yeah.
with that, man, I gotta break out of here, man. I gotta go. It's time for me to trust
All
to
right,
get out of
dog.
here. But I do hope if he does give us Brave and the Bold, it is more like the comic. I hope he does give us a really good, comic version or movie comic version like he did with Superman. Listen, I like Superman. We were talking about it at work. I had some casual fans. I asked the question, "What did you think?" And they all said they thought it was great. They said they thought it was dope. They said they thought it was fresh and very entertaining.
I think
So
most people do. It's pretty fucking popular. It's definitely killing the box office.
it is definitely doing that.
Killing it.
Yeah.
But check
I
out
couldn't
this
even.
possible fan casting of
Yeah, I
Wonder
seen
Woman.
that. Yeah, Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Yeah, I seen that on my Google feed. I'm like,
I
what?
like
Ah,
I like it. I think she looks good like Wonder Woman. I think she looks just like Wonder Woman,
I think
bro.
she can pass. I think she can pass as Wonder Woman. I was like, she can pass for Wonder Woman.
Nah, for
Put
me,
her in
it's
the
like
suit.
she. To me, I think she's not. I mean, she's not Gal Gadot. She's not. She's not supposed to be. She's supposed to be more like a comic book Wonder Woman.
Which
Like
I'm cool
this is
with. Yeah.
comic
No,
book
I'm
Wonder
cool
Woman.
with it. Yeah, I'm cool with it. Because Gal Gadot played a good Wonder Woman. She came on screen. She
But
was
she
perfect.
wasn't comic book Wonder Woman to me.
No, she wasn't. She was more like
Cinema
a
Wonder
dark,
Woman.
like cinema Wonder Woman, but she was good. I can't take nothing away
Yeah,
from her. I
yeah,
really can't. I like that version of Wonder Woman. She was good.
yeah. Yeah, she was good. She was good. She was well. Part one was good. It was a good movie, and she was good in it. But she was definitely not your classic Wonder Woman. And I think
No,
this
no, like
is
Linda
the
Carter.
I
Yeah,
like this looks like Wonder Woman to me, like classic Wonder Woman. Like how spot on can you get? Like
yeah,
that is spot on, bro. She's like from straight out of a comic book with the eyes, the lips,
yeah.
sheesh, the
It's a
hair.
good pick. A good pick. I'd like to see her in costume. Like
Yeah,
before, like
yeah,
this, like her in
yeah.
just like it's
I
like
want to see her in a
you know,
real,
see her
not in
in a
this
real
movie,
cut,
but
right? Not in that.
yeah,
No,
that's
I want to
dumb.
see her in a real costume,
In a comic book one like
suited up.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
like
playing the
this
part. See how
version,
it goes.
that version right there. Yeah.
Mhm. All right, man.
All
I'm
right,
gonna get out of
broski.
here. All right.
I gotta talk
A few
about these
more.
early reactions. All right, bro. To the Fantastic Four. 30 minutes, the first 30 minutes. Yeah, the first 30-minute fan screening event. So just like with Superman, they showed the first 30 minutes to a bunch of people in Brazil or wherever. And yeah, the people this is what they said. The first 30 minutes was screened at the fan event in Brazil. Just like they did with the Superman movie. And people dug it. Let's see. Let me get some reviews. Where's the reviews at? First 30 minutes of screen, follow screening. Early reactions to the scene have been revealed. The plot appears to revolve around Sue. Yeah. Sue and Franklin Richards. Several villains show up with others being referenced. We do see Mole Man for sure. I got pictures of Mole Man too on set. So we get to see what Mole Man looks like in his costume. I'll show you that in a second. You got Pedro Pascal and Sue share plenty of screen time. Reed's stretching powers look amazing in the film. The plot seems to focus on Sue and Franklin. Reed takes the lead and makes most of the team's decisions. Ben and Johnny leave a strong impression. Shalabal's action scenes are absolutely wild. There's lots of action with everyone showing off their powers. Each character appears to have clear personal arc. The visuals are immersive and full of detail. Several villains appear, with others being referenced. The CGI is top notch. The trailers don't lie, I guess, apparently, because the trailers look great, and basically that's how everything they just said I've already seen and could already tell you based on the trailer. So that doesn't really give us anything new, in my opinion, but it just sort of reinforces what we know and makes me excited to know that this is going to be good. You all know the story, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we do. We see a brief montage of past battles, including the Fantastic Four fighting Mole Man, followed by an action sequence featuring a battle with Red Ghost and his chimps. Back home, Sue discovers she's pregnant. The rest of the story continues with Silver Surfer arriving to deliver a warning. Here's the plot details for First Steps. Introduces Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, as they face their many daunting challenges yet, forced to balance their roles as heroes, sharing their strength in their family bond, Galactus comes, we already know all that. Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's not. I was hoping to see some more detailed first reactions, but I'll take it. I will take that. Take that. When I was across the pond, we saw the first 30 minutes and it was powerful. Left me wanting more. You saw the first 30 minutes of Fantastic Four in England? So they didn't just show it in Brazil? That's dope. Oh wow, man. Well, what do you agree with everything that they say here? That's really cool, man. Nice. Hell yeah, bro. Okay. Yeah, I want to see that, man. But I'm good. I'm good. I will. I'll wait. I ain't got no choice, but I'll wait. From what I understand, they're making some very strange and unnecessary changes to the Human Torch. The Human Torch, Johnny Storm, has long been known as the high-spirited, often carefree, and eternally confident member of the Fantastic Four. A ladies' man, a jock, frat boy douche type sometimes, or sometimes he's just, a really boisterous guy, but his powers, far from being a burden, were always a source of pride and, even a path to his celebrity. And his established persona has been a cornerstone of the character, for decades, and defining his interactions, and role within the iconic superhero team, blase blah. And so, however, a very surprising new direction for the character is being hinted at in the recent preview for the Fantastic Four First Steps. Maybe you could tell me, Slade, if this is true, but I think the initial glimpse into the upcoming series introduces a potentially jarring shift in Johnny's personality, suggesting a deeper, more internal conflict regarding his fiery abilities. Unlike his traditional portrayal, where his powers were seamlessly integrated into his identity, this preview sort of implies an unexpected struggle within the Human Torch. And this could mean that his once celebrated abilities might now be the source of some personal uncertainty, sort of challenging his very sense of purpose and altering the familiar dynamic of the character and the team. His sort of power, his anguish over his powers is very uncharacteristic, I think. It's I'm basing this largely on the comic book adaptation, or I guess it's like a prequel. I don't know. It's Fantastic Four First Steps comic book. And so I don't know, because I haven't seen the movie, obviously, how, if this is shit from the movie or what. But I can show you some pictures from it. But it's showing me that like, in a departure from his very, very well-known, long-standing comic book history, this sort of preview to the movie comic suggests that Johnny Storm is grappling with an uncharacteristic sense of anguish concerning the powers. And so traditionally, right, he embraced the abilities. He was very enthusiastic, he loved it. He loved to flame on and fly around, and he was very, very, very into it. Loved his powers. We even saw in the movies where he would sort of tease the thing about how his powers were cool and the thing's powers sucked and all that, right? And so when confronted by Ben Grimm for moping around, Johnny blows up and yells, "I'm bored and sad, and I don't know why my life matters anymore or what it means." It's very un-Johnny Storm-like. And so I don't know why they're doing this. It's very unnecessary, in my opinion. It is to, like, appeal to Gen Z. I don't know. But I know it's, I don't care if you race swap or gender swap a character as much as I care if you completely change his characteristics. Don't change his personality. Don't make it essentially a different character, because then it's not the same character. You've changed the character and it's now a different character. You're giving him literally different character. And I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I'm going to dig that. There's a lot about this movie that I'm very much on the fence about until I see it. Some things I've heard, some things I know that I'm like, kind of like, I don't know, until I see it. Nothing is turning me off, but this is one of the things that I'm a little bit like, I don't know. Like, the actor was like, Johnny Storm was the actor literally said something to the effect of, Johnny Storm is typically like a womanizing ladies man, like a womanizer, and like a guy like that. And like, he said, but is that really sexy? I don't think so. And so my Johnny Storm is the opposite of that. It's like, dog, I don't, who are you doing that for? You know what I mean? Like, clearly you're not doing that for fans of the character. And when you portray a character, just like when you adapt to something, don't you want to, like, live up to the fans' expectations, or make the fans happy, or give the fans what they want, or portray the character that fans have loved for decades? But it's so odd to me how a lot of these comic movies will literally just shit on the fans of these characters. Like, oh, you really loved all this stuff about the character? Well, fuck you. We're going to change it. Like, who's that for? Because people who aren't fans of the character wouldn't give a fuck anyway. And people who are fans of the character clearly aren't going to like that. So I don't know. I don't get the strategy. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think this is a mistake, but I don't know if it's going to bother anybody. I don't know if it's going to be a problem for the movie. I don't know if anyone's going to notice or care or whatever. Who knows? But traditionally, Johnny Storm found joy and identity in his powers, often basking in his fiery abilities. And his character was a stark contrast to Reed's intellectual burdens or Ben's physical anguish, providing a necessary dose of like a youthful exuberance and confidence and an antithesis. It made the four different people four completely different characters that fit together. What's the point if they're all the same? If they're all like, oh, my powers make me fucking weird. Like, leave that shit to the Thing. And even Mr. Fantastic sometimes. Fucking Sue and Johnny were always the ones that were fucking straight. Like, they had dope powers that didn't bother them at all. And this is like, that's like the point. So I don't know, man. You're taking that away. I don't know. I don't want to harp on it forever, but I think it's just weird. It's just crazy. On the other hand, this shifts Johnny's character, this shift in Johnny's character could potentially pave the way for a more rich, more complex exploration of who he is at his core. And maybe we will see that Johnny Storm and find out that was all a facade. Like, that's fine. I can get with that. But don't just tell me that the character I knew never existed. Don't fucking do that shit, dog. Stop that shit. Like, no one appreciates it. But giving the Human Torch a genuine internal conflict about his powers, rather than just, that superficial vanity, it does offer the endless opportunities for character growth and all the depth of all that, may come with that. But that's kind of what was great about Johnny Storm, was he wasn't tied up with all that. He was the character that we all wish we had. You know what I mean? Like, and then you're going to take that away. I don't know. This fresh approach might explore the psychological toll of extraordinary abilities on someone who previously seemed immune to self-doubt. And the comic preview, it sort of hints at a storyline where Johnny's journey will involve confronting those personal demons and providing a more grounded and relatable dimension to his otherwise flamboyant, womanizing persona. And so this sort of unexpected turn for Johnny does signify this bold attempt to give the character a more significant emotional depth than previously explored. If that's what you want, if that's what you're going for, if that's what you think this character needs. I don't know. I think the potential struggle with the meaning of his powers could culminate in a powerful realization, perhaps in the face of colossal threats like Galactus. But maybe it solidifies his role as, being beyond just the team's hothead, potentially elevating him to a more nuanced and impactful hero, someone with more respect, someone that could lead a team, someone that could go on maybe to do other shit in other movies. I don't know. But I think the preview does leave readers to ponder how this evolution will ultimately reshape this character that they've loved for so many decades. But I've never been a big fan of the Fantastic Four to where I give too much of a shit. So it's not a problem, really. Let me see. Yes, compared to other movies, the other movies didn't really showcase the team's powers. What movie? Like the Alba movie with Silver Surfer? That was pretty. I think we just got to see a lot of Johnny Storm and Mr. Fantastic for sure. Not the Thing. What are you gonna do? We saw Sue. We saw some shit and some powers. It was decent. I don't know what you mean, but and also the that I don't know when they made the Fantastic Four movie. Um, the one with Michael B. Jordan. I didn't even see that movie. I'll be honest. Like I skipped that one, so I don't know. I don't know what they did in that one. Or Reed is the leader of Fantastic Four. I mean, yeah, you should go back and watch the Jessica Alba Fantastic Four because that one I think was the most comic accurate as you could get. But this is the preview of which I speak. Couple of shots there. Couple of shots there. There you go. So this is the movie Fantastic Four. That's Pedro Pascal and well shit, I can't read it. But we can. Our period of self-quarantine allowed us time to better understand how our physiogenomes had changed while ensuring we were not a danger to anyone else. Reed worries like Aunt Petunia. Smartest guy in the world, but he hasn't figured out he can't control everything. That's my read and thing. There you go. Well, in these speech bubbles that you can't read, Johnny's like, I'm scared and like I don't know why my life matters anymore. It's really weird. I don't know. Really uncharacteristic. Wait, and then you got Sue. She says, every living thing, even fantastic ones, needs oxygen. Sure, I agree. We all do. We definitely all do. All right, here is the Mole Man. Little shot of the Mole Man there. What's his name? What's his name? Paul Walter Hauser. Actor. I don't know. He's played some roles. I can't say I like him like hell of a lot. But he's playing Mole Man, and I think he does fit the role, man. Without further ado, let me get this on the screen for you. Mr. Moleman. Very much from the comics. He's got the green suit with the stripes, and he's got the goggles with the rectangular slits. Give him his mole blindness, but also, I guess, probably protect his eyes from falling rocks and debris. And this is just in the movie. He's just got a hoodie on that's green. I mean, it's great because it's not a costume in any way, but that's definitely Mole Man right there. You know what I mean? That's cool. I can work with that. Let me see here. That's for the MCU. That's some goddamn comic accuracy right there. Oh my god, they for the MCU. That's goddamn really good. Here's a Mole Man right there. Wikipedia. There's his green suit with his goggles. There he is. Sort of a hoodie, I guess. Let's see. Let me get some more pictures of him though, because yeah, they couldn't give him a cape, I guess. Where is that pinstripe at? Those pinstripes that he's got, I have seen that in a comic moment. I swear I have. Maybe it was Cartoon Mole Man. I know that's some what do you call it? Some Mandela effect shit or what? But straight up and down, I definitely remember those pinstripes. Ain't that some shit? Well, I can't find it now. But I swear to God, he had some white stripes at some point. Maybe I'm totally tripping. But I don't know where I got that from. But there he is. Official photo of the Fantastic Four first villain. There he is. Dude, why do I recognize them pinstripes like that? Yeah, that's some Mandela shit. That's crazy. I guess he's got a big collar. Yeah, they could have done something, maybe a big hood, like could have made it a big hoodie or something to make it more like a cape. I don't know. The cape, I don't worry about though. That's fine. It's definitely got a big ass collar though. That's a big ass collar right there. Wow, he's in a bunch of shit. Look at him over here. There's a real villains who's who. With Mole Man there. Mole Man, yeah. Daredevil 2, Daredevil season 2, Born Again, miraculously has a release date that is something that we've never seen before, definitely. Daredevil Born Again season 1 wrapped filming in April 2024, and the show aired March 2025. Born Again season 2 wrapped filming July 2025. The show's release date is March 2026. From April to March, it took the first season. This one's from July to March. Despite, another 3 extra months there, season 2 is supposed to hit that year mark, barring any post-production delays. But Marvel really wants this to happen, which is great for all of us if it pans out. In this era of 95% streaming shows needing, what does it say here? 1.5 to even 3 years to make a new season. Yeah, I think we only see that mold broken every so often. And if you told me like that a MCU project was going to be in that category, no way I'm believing you. And it's just been announced that Daredevil Born Again season 2 has wrapped filming, so I will believe. And it began filming as season 1 was still airing. So that means that there will be a miraculous single year between the shows, between the seasons. 1 year. That's amazing. And I know a lot of people think like that. Well, why don't shows come out every year? Shows used to come out once a year. What's going on with these multiple years between seasons? This is bullshit. Well, first of all, you have to fucking remember that TV shows back in the day were TV. They were done on sets, little cardboard sets that were done, and they come back to them and just keep reusing those same 4 sets, and they have a tight schedule, and it's very systematic. Well, nowadays TV shows are filming on locations, big accurate sets, CGI, just basically mini movies, right? They're doing basically what films used to do. And so that's why the quality, just the fact that they're not TV shows of old, that's why they take longer to make now. They just do. So you're not going to get a season every year like you used to back in the day. And that's totally fine with me. I'm not a TV guy. I never liked TV shows. I still to this day do not watch network TV. I don't care for anything the only network shows that I like really would respect are like Breaking Bad, Mad Men. And there's like 5. There's like a very small amount of shows that I think are to the par of something you'd find on HBO or something, right? And ever since Sopranos came out, 6 Feet Under, and like that era, shows turned into really just long form movies, and just I love them. I love them now more than movies. I was like a movie guy, a film guy. Like I was going to film school and all that shit, and just a real movie buff. Game of Thrones, right? Like these shows that are just every bit of production quality wise as any movie. In some cases more than some, and others then and they're just spread out. They're like 15-hour long movies every season, and you get 8 seasons. You have like 8 15-hour or 8 12-hour movies. And when I go back and I watch the 2-hour movie format now, I feel like it's just a brochure. Like I feel like it's just like you're giving me the story beats now. Now I feel like the movie is just very condensed. It's very just this happened and this and this, and it's like it's over. It's like, what about this and what happened here and what was that about and how did they get to that point and what happened? I mean, like all that gets explored in the show now. So it kind of spoiled me, man, and it like movies aren't as enjoyable to me as they used to be just because of that fact, because I end up feeling robbed. I end up feeling like that's it. And obviously, like, that would never existed before. You never felt like that before. I don't know, a lot of people haven't even caught on to that yet, that feeling, but I noticed it. And I think if you think about it, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, 6 episodes, Daredevil. I think no. Okay, so there's the 2 seasons were greenlit from the start, right? When they were going to do Born Again, they were doing 2 seasons, greenlit them. Writing finished early, filming started early, and this is what we see from other miraculous year gap shows like Slow Horses, which are auto renewed way early, so there's enough time to get them out very quickly. And so when shows do come out every year, you'll notice that one of 2 things: the production quality is nowhere near shows that take a couple years, or it's something where it's like very formulaic, or it's been done years in advance, or they've already been greenlit and they've just got right to starting them. And a lot of the other thing about these shows is that they are such big budget cinematic movies, like giant movies, that it's not guaranteed that they're gonna do another season. See, what TV shows back in the day, it would be like, we're gonna keep going until we get canceled. Like we're gonna keep going until people stop watching. Now it's like, we'll give you a season, see how it does. If it does well, we'll greenlight a second one. And if it does well, we'll think about greenlighting a third one. It's like, and now it's like, oh, they greenlit for another season. Like that's the news we get now. Like they greenlit for another season. No one ever thought about that shit back in the day, because it was like almost the opposite. It was like, oh, it's getting canceled. Like, well, what, really? Shows would run fucking forever back in the day. But we know a little bit about season 2, namely that the show stopped bothering to try and hide that that Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones was rising from her Netflix grave to join the cast. We also know John Bernthal's Punisher is returning, a character who's also getting his own Disney Plus special, which is basically between an episode of a show and a movie. It's an hour and a half. It's like an hour and a half mini movie. They call it a special. And he'll be joining the cast of Spider-Man, Brand New Day as well. So you have Punisher and Spider-Man, which is very poignant if you know that the Punisher literally was invented to be a Spider-Man villain. Punisher started and first appeared in a Spider-Man comic as a villain. So surprising almost that we haven't seen Spider-Man and Punisher together yet on screen. So that will be cool. And then which indicating more street level focus for Spider-Man and shit. I think in that movie it's going to be a more street level vibe than a cosmic one, which Spider-Man is definitely better for, and which as of now seems to be staying out of the next cosmic multiverse Avengers plotline as well. So it seems that Marvel's new plan for Disney Plus series to go back to that Netflix era street level content is great. And so it technically, started with Echo, but now the main attraction is Daredevil. And of course, Punisher and Jessica Jones are already back. Luke Cage and Iron Fist actors have expressed a strong desire to return, reassembling the Defenders. We haven't gotten any official, yays or nays on those two characters, but I think it's pretty safe to say they'll be back. And so the one catch here is that Daredevil Born Again may have a bit of viewership problem. The show was a sequel to a series that ended in 2018 and, debuted with figures below Agatha all day long and did not chart on the Nielsen ratings. 7.5 million in its first 5 days was enough to be the biggest premiere on Disney Plus this year, but that was 3 months into the year with essentially nothing else being released. So it was like, yeah, of course. So I wonder if viewership does not pick up, if these kinds of shows will continue. It's very safe to say they will not. And fine. Like, I personally, as big as a fan as I am of comics and as bad as I want to see live action comic stuff, I have not been a super big fan of like the Disney Plus shows, the Marvel shows. They have not been great. They just haven't. But Daredevil, this new one, I loved it. I got excited as fuck. The Bullseye coming out in season 2 with the more comic accurate look and just man, this is awesome. I fuck with it. I'm a big fan of the Punisher. So that said, though, I don't imagine the recent Ironheart burned up the charts either, and so who knows? But it's just not going well for Disney Plus shows as a thing. Speaking of Punisher, though, we got some set images from the Daredevil show. No, I'm not going to show you those. It's just John Bernthal bruised up. You've seen it before. Who cares? But something that is interesting and kind of funny, which when I was raising my first kid, I seen like reruns to the show that I remembered from the early 90s that I didn't really watch as a kid, but then like my kid, I showed to them and they really got into it. And it's called Captain Planet. So Captain Planet and the Planeteers, the early 90s American animated environmentalist superhero television series is fondly remembered by a generation of kids who absorbed its eco-friendly message and toys. Now, 30 years later, it's coming back as a live-action series for Netflix. And guess who's going to play? No, I don't know who's going to be in it. But I know that the producers, Greg Berlanti and none other than Leonardo DiCaprio, are going to be making the thing, but did not comment or have not said anything, officially yet. But Variety magazine reported that a Captain Planet and the Planeteers live action show series is on its way, being adapted for Netflix, and that Leonardo DiCaprio and Greg Berlanti are executive producers. That's happening. And there's been, I think, a few different efforts to do a Captain Planet adaptation over the years, including a movie for Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he just likes the character. I believe that secretly when Leonardo DiCaprio was a kid, because he's that age, like he's a little younger than me, I believe. Is he younger than me? He's older than me. He's older than me. He's older than me. So I felt that I was. No, I don't know, man. Captain Planet was very elusive. Like I said, I didn't get into it. I didn't even know about it as a kid. Like I didn't really get into it. I knew about it, but I thought it was like a commercial or like a between shows show. I didn't. It just did not fucking hit my radar. It was completely off my radar as a kid. Found out about it later when my kid was a kid and showed it to them and they loved it. So that's what I know about it. The original television series, Captain Planet and the Planeteers, it's an environmentally conscious show that tells a story of like 5 kids from different areas of the world, different regions, different countries. And so each are given a magical ring that grants them the ability to control a specific element. And so when they all join forces, they can summon an environmental superhero called Captain Planet. It's like they form like Voltron. They put their rings together and like Captain Planet comes and helps them. Like he's not even a real guy. That's how I took it. Like he's just like a force. What was that shit? Was it Rick and Morty? I think it was Rick and Morty. They spoofed Captain Planet. Yeah, it was Rick and Morty. They spoofed Captain Planet. That was pretty funny. Walmart CollectorCon coming this July 24th. We will have some new G.I. Joe classifieds, some new Marvel Legends, some new Star Wars Black Series coming out. Hot Toys has a new Galactus that's like almost as tall as the HasLab Hot Toy, doing their first steps. Hot Toys, Mondo's doing a Savage Land Rogue that's amazing, and Ghostface Killer's Supreme Clientele 2 is officially again announced to be coming out in August. So I don't know. I don't know. I guess they're putting some finishing touches on it. It's not out, so it ain't done. Or it is done and they haven't released it for whatever reason. Who knows? But Raekwon's The Emperor's New Clothes just came out. And before that, Slick Rick's Victory. And Nas's Mass Appeal record label is doing like a 7-album rollout, and Supreme Clientele is next on the roster. So very excited about that. I will definitely keep y'all posted. Other than that, y'all, man, thanks for coming and kicking it with us as always. We do this every Wednesday and Saturday, and we'll be back, of course, after this weekend, and we'll see you guys then Wednesday at 7 p.m. Hit that like button, subscribe, man. Hit that, do some comments, man. Help us out in the algorithm. And don't forget, you guys, don't ever forget.
Be water, my friend.